Asking for help is a great act of service because you allow someone else to have the joy of sacrifice. And it goes backwards and forwards. It's not one-sided. And this is where I think great relationships work, which is we take turns. And sometimes it's really difficult when both of us are in need at the same time. That gets really difficult. Good thing we have friends. So, at the height of COVID, I have a couple of my friends, they're sort of remarkable high-performing individuals, both of them. And one of them called me out of the blue. She went for a long walk. She says, I'm doing really badly, and I need to talk to you. And I don't want to talk to my husband because he's doing really badly as well. And I fear that if I talk to him, he doesn't have the energy for me, but I know he'll want to be there for me, which will make it worse for him. We're both really struggling. Do you have some time to talk? And I mean, A, the willingness to ask for help. B, the willingness to understand that asking her husband for help would make it even more difficult for him. It was just a very sophisticated and beautiful moment. And to this day, not only did we become closer for it, but her husband and I became closer for it as well because I was there for her when he knew he couldn't be. And this is why we have friends. Like, again, we can't do this alone. Not only are we social animals, we're tribal animals. It's more than a friend. It takes a community. And I think one of the, we're always talking about what we're eating and we're talking about what we're, what supplement we're taking, or we're always talking about those kinds of things, or what book we're reading. But we don't do enough talking about how we are nursing our close personal relationships, how we're taking care of those closest to us and making sure that the tribe is strong. The crew is taken care of, And I think there's a lot more work that we can do in that arena.
Is there practical things that you do with colleagues, partners, friends to create that culture of seeking feedback, being open, being truly vulnerable? Some people say, oh, we'll sit down with our diary and we'll do this exercise. Or you might have seen in organizations where they do like 360 feedback things. Is there practical things we can do to create a culture of seeking out that feedback and creating a safe space?
Well, the simple answer is, of course. There's no such thing as a single silver bullet. It's a combination of things. It's like, what's the one thing I can do to have a happy relationship? Well, I can tell you a important thing, but I can't tell you the important thing. So it's the same. And everybody's a little different, and each culture is a little different. So there's not even a set list I can give, but there's some things that people can choose from. One thing is, one of the ways we create space is how we react, right? If someone gives you feedback and you deny it, well, that's a problem. If somebody gives you hard feedback and you thank them for it, it's a very different environment it creates. So I'll give you two examples, one a lesson, the other one a practical example that someone can use. So I had the opportunity to visit the Army Rangers, Ranger School in particular, and where they make Army Rangers. And one of the troubles they had a bunch of years ago was they had these folks that they called Spotlight Rangers, which was they were really good at their job. Like they were brilliant at all the tasks that were set to them, strong. The teachers, the instructors, loved them. They stood out. They were great. They were motivated. But as soon as the spotlight was turned off, when the instructor wasn't there and they were back at barracks, they were assholes. And the only people who knew were their friends and colleagues because the spotlight was turned off. And so the Army Rangers implemented a system of peer review in order to identify Spotlight Rangers. And now, by the way, they started this 40 years ago, which I find incredibly advanced. But to advance through Ranger School, you need to pass 3 tests. You need your instructor to say, yep, you're ready to go to the next level. You need to physically actually perform all the tasks required of you, and you need to pass your peer review. And if you fail any one of those 3, you don't make it to the next level.
Interesting.
And so that becomes an equally weighted component of advancement in the Army Rangers, which is what kind of team player are you, which I love. So we implemented a system of 360 review, which was sort of a bit of an amalgamation of things we'd taken from other groups and made our own, where the way it works is you take the group of people you have regular interaction with, and you fill out your top 3 weaknesses or the places you believe you need to grow the most with a specific example for each. So top 3 specific weaknesses or places you need to grow the most, and then top 3 specific strengths or the places you believe, 3 examples of the places you believe you've grown the most. They have to be specific. Not like, oh, I'm a much better timekeeper now. No, that you've got to give some specific examples. They're collated and distributed amongst the team, and then you come together as a group and you take turns reading them. So first you read your own weaknesses, and then the group has the opportunity to add to that list. And here's the best part. We give a little speech before the whole exercise starts that the people who are going to give you this feedback really don't want to. It's really uncomfortable for them. It's going to be, they would just rather not do this exercise at all. But they're going to do it because they want to see you and help you grow. And so what they're giving you is a gift. And so you have to receive it as a gift, which means you say thank you. You don't have to agree with it. If you don't agree with it, say thank you and just dismiss it. It's fine. But if it has an emotional impact, if it makes you angry or frustrated, it's probably true. Right? And we go around the room and people can add to this list of these weaknesses in any way there's no format. They can do it in any way they want. And you sit there and you look them in the eye and you genuinely say, thank you. You're not allowed to say a word except thank you. Then you do your strengths and you read your strengths, and anyone can add to the list. And just as you discovered you have blind spots you didn't know you have, you discover that you have strengths that you didn't know you had, that you're having a positive impact in the lives of others that you didn't know you were. And it's a magical experience. There's usually tears at some point because it's powerful and it's a safe environment. I wouldn't recommend an organization start there. I would recommend you build towards that because you're going to put very senior people and very junior people in the same room, and they're going to have very blunt conversations with each other. And it's real, right? It's not a place to start, but it is a place to get to. And there are variations for it. That one takes a lot of time. You know, we varied it as where everybody's responsible to do it, and you have 2 people assigned, and you can choose 1 or 2 people to join, and you just have a smaller group when you want to do it. You know, and it's just for you, so the others don't do it in that moment. It's a little more efficient to do it that way, but there's no right or wrong way.
I really love that idea of the promotion being contingent on not just your manager or you're the CEO believing that you are X, Y, and Z, but getting peer reviewed by the colleagues around you. Because one of the things I noticed in my company, when I left, there was about 700 people, but I would hear reports about a particular team member, and the reports I would get back about their character and their conduct never matched the way they treated me. So they would always treat me,
of course,
amazingly, right?
Yeah.
Of course, right? And then I'd hear that they treated this person like this, and they did this, and I'd go, really? And they go, yeah. I'd go, really? Yeah. They were always so nice to me. And obviously on that basis, I would have promoted that individual and thought they were great. So that's definitely something I'll implement.
That's called a tree of monkeys, by the way.
It's called
a tree of monkeys, which is all the people at the top looking down see only smiles, but all the people at the bottom looking up see only ashes.
Oh shit! Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I never had that.
And again, you don't have to. I mean, there's different cultures can accept different. You know, there's no right or wrong here. You know, and some cultures may want to implement a peer review that gets included in a promotion package, but it doesn't have to be that. Good leadership helps there as well.